Hi, this is Sandra, creating in Spain, and today's video is on Pilot Parallel pens. Now these are calligraphy pens with variously sized nibs from 1.5 to 6.0 millimeters. If I take the caps off of a couple of these just to show you the two extremes, we have the 1.5 and the 6.0. Now the difference with these calligraphy pens is that the ink comes out via two plates. So the ink comes out in between these two plates and then goes across the nib. Now when I had these at Christmas time, I wanted to use them to do normal handwritten calligraphy, but I wasn't too thrilled with the ink that they come supplied with. I found that on every paper and card I have, the calligraphy ink just feathered, and that didn't really make it too useful for doing pretty lettering. I contacted Pilot. Their response wasn't unduly helpful. They said that these pens were designed to put down more ink than normal pens, and that you needed to use a paper that was suitable for it. None of that, I hasten to add, was mentioned in any of the advertising that I saw for these pens. That caused me to want to buy them in the first place. So, apart from the fact that I'd had them for a while, they were a present, and I really didn't want to cause too much of a fuss trying to take them back, I put them to one side and I basically haven't used them. But last night I had a light bulb moment and I decided that I would change the ink which was in them. Now when I opened up the smallest one, which I think is this orange one, the 1.5, I discovered a couple of things. Firstly, I discovered that my ink cartridge was in fact already leaking, and most of the ink had leaked out and I only had about that much left, which wasn't of much use anyway. And so I was quite happy to be able to take this apart and to dismantle it and find out exactly what was going on. So when I took the cartridge out, it's a pretty normal cartridge, but it consists of three things. This casing, obviously, that holds the ink. I don't know if you can see it, a little ball bearing which is in the base, and then basically a sealing cap, which is just a round disc of plastic. When you push a cartridge into the pen nib, that little cap breaks off and basically goes down into the inside there. Now, I was thinking, okay, this ink is way too wet for me to use on my normal paper, but is there a way I can use it for embossing? And so what I did was I cleaned out the pen and cartridge in the normal manner, and I refilled it with glycerin, just normal glycerin, which is what I would use if I was damping up an embossing sponge or something like that. And it works beautifully. One word of caution: do not do this unless you are prepared to void your warranty, because I'm sure it would void any warranty that there is on these pens. And the other thing is that when I put it back together, apart from this one, which still actually has the ball bearing in the bottom, I removed the little disc that was sealing because I figured it's not doing anything anyway, so there's no point in it being there. The reason for the ball bearing being in there, I suspect, is because the normal ink is very liquid, it's quite watery, and it would go into the input of the nib and it would stop too much ink flowing through. Now, because glycerin is thicker, I really don't need to have that ball there, and in fact it stays at the base and it's not doing anything anyway. So if you're going to do this and fill with glycerin, remove the closure cap there and the little ball bearing. The other thing that is worth mentioning, because I came a bit unstuck with this, is that normally glycerin is completely colourless. So the next time I did it, I just tinted it with some blue liquid watercolour. If you don't have any liquid blue watercolour, just go to the supermarket and find yourself a cheap bottle of liquid food colouring, not the gel sort, the liquid, and add a drop of that. Go easy on it because you don't want to make it highly coloured, you just want to be able to see it when you're writing, because if you don't, it turns into invisible ink. So there we go, it worked. Now I'm just going to show you a couple of samples going from the very narrowest, which was the 1.5. And I'm just going to stand up to make sure I'm in shot still. Yeah, okay. And this one was the 2.4. And then this one is the 3.8. And this one is the 6mm. Now, I didn't take a lot of care with the embossing. I didn't use an embossing buddy or any powder to stop the static. And I didn't take any particular care with the writing either, but you can see the basic result. It embosses very nicely, thank you very much. So that is certainly one way that I've been able to make use of these pens. The other way that I thought of, and I thought of it afterwards, is that I could have almost done the reverse, in that I could have kept most of the ink colour in, which was simply black in my case, and added a couple of drops of glycerin just to thicken the ink. Now I don't know if that would work, it depends what the ink consists of, but it could be worth a try if you really want to use them as normal pens and are finding the same difficulty as I did. But as I said, it would void your warranty, so be aware of that. If you want to try it with a normal fountain pen or calligraphy pen, I don't know if it will work, I haven't tried it. But if you try it and it works, drop a comment in the comment sections below and let me know. And again, subscribe if you like and give me a thumbs up. Thanks very much. Bye bye.